Hello and welcome back. I just want to do another short piece on working with styrene or high impact polystyrene. Today I was just going to talk about a couple of different methods we can of cutting a slot out of the styrene. Previously we talked about doing the edges where this is an internal piece. So this is part of Dave Everett's excellent K9 plans. I've just got some 3mm high pack styrene, polystyrene. As before, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on there. This is just, you can spray adhesive on for bigger pieces, or this normal glue stick for the smaller stuff. This would be part of a bigger panel, but just for this demonstration I'll just put that on here. So the problem we have here is that it's easy to mark out the outside lines on here and snap them off, but the internal, we can't get a point where we can snap it off to. So this is the method I normally use. So first off, I'm going to drill some holes in here. I don't know if I can get a bit closer. I just want to drill a line of holes here in the corner. So originally I was just using an old hacksaw blade. This is, I don't know, 18 tooth per inch or something like that, and this is just in a holder just to make it easier to hold on to. It's just a piece of hacksaw blade that I broke along my endeavours of using a hacksaw like everyone does. And then where was it? Recently I've brought a set of this saw from one of the hobby shops on the internet. So this has a couple saw blades in it. There's a small one there and the bigger one here. Just a nail nut that you use to swap the blades out with. Lock it back in. You can use a coping saw as well. So that's like this, and then you drill a hole and you put that in there, but you're limited to the reach of the coping saw. On this piece you might be able to cut it out, but only just. For this demonstration we'll just go through these two saws. So I guess the first thing you want to do is work out what size holes you want to put in there. So you can put a bunch of smaller holes, 3 or 4mm holes down here. So we'll do that on this side. So obviously a 4mm drill, the centre of that will be 2mm. So we want to draw a line at least 2mm from this edge, but then that'll be right on this edge, so we'll give ourselves another millimetre. So for a 4mm drill I'm going to draw a line 3mm away from that edge. Three millimeters. That's roughly 3mm. And for this corner I'm going to drill a single hole that's 8mm. So same again, we'll give ourselves a bit of space, so I'll make a hole that's 9mm, so that'll be 4mm from the edge, like that. And so we'll make that 5mm. So it's about 5 there, and about 5 across. I'm rushing a little bit for the camera. So for this 3mm hole, for this 4mm hole, I also want to start at 3mm down from the top. And then we'll draw maybe 5mm apart. Okay, so we'll just fast forward past this bit while I drill these holes. So just to start with, I'm going to drill a 2mm hole in all these holes, just as a starting point. So now this is a 4mm drill. So now I'm going to use this step drill and drill this hole to 8mm. So you can see that these holes are nearly connected up. So the idea here now is to get this saw blade, because it's got a point on it, and you can cut through here. Actually, just to make life a bit easier, we can put the drill in the center hole. So now we've broken through these two holes. So the idea now is that we'll run the saw near the line. Once we get going, it'll be a lot easier. So I'm just putting a little bit more effort on this right hand side to try and get the saw cut to follow that line. And as we get close to this end point, I'll now run the saw more at 90 degrees so we get a bit flatter of a cut. You can see that or not. One thing I've forgotten to do, that's makes life a bit easier, especially when the paper starts lifting. We'll just put a couple cuts on the line. That's just 3 or 4 light cuts, and just finish off a bit there. You should do that all the way around, obviously with a sharp point on the blade, otherwise it will just tear the paper. Okay then, I forgot about that, and that makes life a little bit easier when come time to cleaning up the edge. You see here that this is about 1 millimetre away from the edge, but here it goes a bit further away, so we'll just redo this cut. Sometimes this the saw with a stiffer back on it is a bit more useful. That's the nice thing about this saw, we can just change the blades out. So now we're getting near the end of that cut. Put the other blade back in, because obviously the back of the blade is a lot thicker, so we can't push that through the styrene. Near the end of the cut. So now we've got a line from there to there that's cut out, and it's about 0.5 millimetre or 1 millimetre away from that line. The closer it is, the less filing you have to do, but then there's more chance of going crooked. So we can use the hacksaw blade and do pretty much the same sort of thing. We can do that on this long cut. Oh, it's getting close to that line. I'm just paying attention when I'm cutting that I'm not going to cut over the original mark line. And again, get near the cut, end of the cut. Now we have to come back this way a little bit. Rightio. So the advantage of having one big hole instead of a couple of little holes is that now I can do this whole corner with the one drill. So to do this end, we can either score that, because now we got room to push the hips away and snap it off, or we can drill another hole again, so we'll do that. So we'll do that with the 8mm drill. So I'm just going to mark it, I said before, 5mm from that edge. So again, a 2mm hole. And a 4mm hole. And now the castle bit. Remember that the first segment of this castle drill is 4mm. Okay, so now we have an 8mm hole there. Get our saw. So we have our waste piece. And now we have the bit that we want to file out. So you'd normally have this at on the edge of your bench to give you a bit more room. Okay, so so this is a square file. So it's basically the same cut as this one. So if you don't have a square file, and because that might fit in there, we can just use the edge. You have the square file. It's not quite there, but it's pretty close. I don't know if Cammy's going to pick it up or not. Just because I've scored this previously, I can see where the score line is, so I still need to file a little bit of this away. Just to finish that edge off, and that's because I've scored it with the knife, so then when the paper is removed we can still see the pattern. So I won't finish that off, I won't bore you with that sort of detail. But I thought I'd show you as well. Let's do that here. So just make this hole a little bit bigger. Another possible tool in the arsenal is this thing's called a Tappered Reamer. So if you need to make the hole a little bit bigger, maybe the plan called for an odd size hole. Remember the casted rule only goes up in 2mm steps, so that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. If the plan calls for a 7mm hole, you can drill it out to 6mm and then just use this here to just slightly make the hole a little bit bigger. Do about 7mm. Try and do it on both sides because it's tapered. That's a handy tool to have, and they're reasonably cheap. You don't want to buy a high quality one because you're just working with plastic, so any of the tools would be okay. And also, I was in my other video about cutting styrene. I put my gloves on. I was a little bit rushed and maybe a little bit too severe with my cuts, and I was breaking the end off the blade because I was cutting through too hard. So you don't want to hit this surface too hard, you want to just back off a little bit. So I've done 3 cuts now with light pressure, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm just touching the board now, but I'm not touching it too hard. So the tip of the blade is still okay. 9 cuts, 10 cuts, 11 cuts, 12 cuts, 13 cuts, 14 cuts, 15 cuts. So you can see that. It's going to be a bit hard to see, but the cut now is about a third to halfway through the styrene. So it's still a bit hard to break, so we won't break that yet. We'll do another, say, 10 cuts. Oh, too hard. Eight. Maybe we'll turn it around and cut back the other way. So that's another 12 more cuts. Again, I don't know how easy that's going to be to see. Just want to focus. So that cuts half to 3/4 of the way through the styrene now. So now it just sort of yielded, and then so it didn't snap or anything as such. It didn't make a snap sound. It just sort of like yielded, and then it let me fold all the way through. So now then, hard to tell. So we've got a reasonably straight cut there, and it's followed along the cut line. Alright, that's all. Thank you for watching again.